Hello, my name is Maria de Vos Kuvshinova, and I'm here to talk about relationships, friendships, and love in the context of a global citizen's life. Originally, I'm from Russia, and I have lived in the Netherlands, Hungary, Egypt, France, and Singapore. I have traveled and worked in 50 countries around the world. I worked as a strategy and change management consultant. I'm an artist, a designer, a growth hacker, and a tech entrepreneur. I have founded 2 companies. The latest one, clubviv.com, is an Uber for chefs, and it's a market leader in Singapore. I worked with people coming from all over the world, and I couldn't but notice that how the world looks at me changes from place to place. I'm convinced that we all carry and spread our own biases. And the more you interact with people from different cultures and the more exposure to the world you get, the more perspective you gain. And hopefully it translates into more openness. This brings me to a very interesting book I can recommend, The Industries of the Future. The author is Alec Ross, who worked on the first Obama presidential campaign and was the advisor on innovation to Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State. He suggests that the key political binary of the past century was the political left versus right. But in the 21st century, the binary has shifted to open versus closed. Those states and societies that embrace economic, political, and cultural openness will have better chances in succeeding in a software and technology-driven future. Certainly, there is no perfectly open society or perfectly closed one, and you have to think of it as a spectrum. Open societies are characterized by a flexible structure, freedom of belief, and wide dissemination of information. So, if you aspire to the values of openness, what does it mean for you as a global citizen? It all starts with you and your own identity. Similarly to how organizations define their mission statement, I find it helpful as an individual to define who you are and what you want to be and become in life. The simplest framework for this would be a connection between your vision, your values, your long-term and short-term goals, as well as your regular practices that bring everything to life. At the end of the day, we are what we do. The organizing unit of your life will probably be your family and friends circle. As the saying goes, you are an average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. As for myself, I am married to a Belgian and we live in Singapore. I come from a family deeply rooted in Russian culture, where I'm the first one to speak English, live abroad, and marry a foreigner. I'm Christian Orthodox, and my husband is Catholic. Needless to say, we have some differences. But we've developed certain practices in our lives that have helped us grow. Let me share with you 3 practices that might be interesting to you. Practice number 1. It's the annual retreat with my husband. As geeky as it sounds, the exercise is incredibly refreshing and gives you the energy boost to shoot for the stars. Every year we choose a quiet paradise place, lock ourselves up there for 4 days with no distractions, and plan our lives for the next 20 years. We look at ourselves as individuals, as loving partners, as parents, and members of a community. Here is an example of the template we use where we break 20 years into the upcoming 1, 3, 5, 10, and 15 years, and plan the important aspects of our lives. The point is not to be exhaustive, but to use it as a guide in your discussions. So personalize it and make it your own so you are comfortable and it works for you. It's an invaluable reflection exercise that helps us to understand, support, and encourage each other so we evolve together. It is important to remain flexible. We revise it every year and we often refer to it throughout the year. Practice number 2 is nurturing attitudes that bring our values into our daily life. For us as a couple, these attitudes are leadership, high performance standards, curiosity, fearlessness, honesty, dialogue, humor, humility, and expressing love. For example, with my husband, we always talk things out. We don't bottle up our emotions and we don't play any guessing games on how we feel about things. We prefer open dialogue so frustrations don't pile up. Or for instance, in difficult times, we look for humor and we laugh a lot. These are just examples, and it's up to you to figure out how to ensure that you translate your values into your daily life. The third practice is cutting out all the negative elements in our life. There is always a way to remove and replace the negative parts if you take charge and you don't expect others to do it for you. Those practices are only a few things that give me confidence we are moving in the direction we have chosen. Many questions remain. For example, how do I live an authentic life as a nomad? How do I maintain meaningful friendships when my friends are spread all over the world? How do I raise trilingual children without making it too hard on them? Or how do I pursue multiple aspirations without spreading myself too thin? How do I support my parents while pursuing my own plans and ambitions? Each of these topics is big on its own, and I explore them in my new publication on Medium, 10x Women. 10x Women publication is dedicated to women with many dreams and big plans. Those who are the pilots of their own lives and actively shape societies around them. So, I would like to summarize our conversation. Open societies have better chances in succeeding in a technology-driven future. Those that embrace economic, political, and cultural openness. Everyone can be a global citizen and an active shaper of a society. It is helpful to define your direction and put certain practices in place that help you evolve and shape the community around you. And if all of this resonates with you, please stay in touch through my publication 10x Women. Check it out and subscribe through Medium. You can also find the summary of this talk and the templates I mentioned by clicking on the following link. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.